And now, Giant Sports Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Eric and Glenn.
Welcome to Giant Sports Talk Live. It's going to be me and Lou tonight. Glenn is having some issues up in Winnipeg. Whoa! Hey!
Where are we?
Hey! What the hell? Let us in, huh? Forgot to take off the repeat. But anyways, Glenn has something called a blizzard coming through Winnipeg, so he's having some issues with his power and all that stuff. So if he joins us, that'd be awesome. But if he's not, that's the reason why. That happens. You cannot beat Mother Nature, can you, Lou? Matter of fact, we got some rain coming ourselves.
Yeah, last time I looked, there's two things undefeated. When you fall on cement and Mother Nature. I think they're both undefeated. You know, it's one of those things. Now, also, I believe, Glenn, you know, if we all been watching the news, East Coast got bombarded Saturday night, Sunday. If you guys went to high school, you actually would know where Winnipeg is on the map. So, you know, it's crazy. I think last week he said it was 11 degrees, but it was like 44 below with wind chill and everything. So, hey, I enjoy the Bay Area. We complain when it's 55 and it's a little rain. So that's why we all move out here.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it could be he's ashamed that Canada got beat again in the Olympics. Go USA.
Yeah, how about that? That was fun to see.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. Look, everyone brings up 1980, but 1980 was so much different, right? The big bad Soviet Union, right? That's the Soviet Union. That is our mortal enemy, right? And we went out there and we beat them. Canada, right? Not necessarily a mortal enemy, right? But they're very good at freaking hockey, and for Team USA to go out there and get that win was awesome. Both the women and the men, so that was good to see, right? Little patriotic there, so that was fun. Gary, our good buddy over in New York, 24 inches of the white stuff, man. Oh man, no, thank you, man. I had to deal with a little bit of snow when I was in Germany, and that shit was not fun, man. It was not fun.
My sister's in New York, and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And she lives in a place called Sutton Place outside Manhattan. And she took a photo because she had to walk her dog, and she was the only one. I mean, literally, there was nobody else on the thing, you know. But she was dressed like a mummy, you know. I mean, you couldn't see her. But hey, you want to live on the East Coast? That's fine. And let's do this. Let's get all this weather out of the way now.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want it when the Giants have to go back to New York where, you know, we have rain outs or snow outs or something. You know, let's get these storms out of the way and let's get the summer.
Oh, man. MV, he says, good here in Tijuana. Be careful out there, my friend. It's a little crazy down there south of the border right now. Again, if you guys are watching the news, I'm sure you guys seen what's been going on out there. So, again, for those of you living in Mexico, be careful out there, right? Or those who are visiting. It's kind of dangerous. Hopefully it will pass over here fairly soon. But again, thoughts and prayers. Absolutely. All right. Left on base. I see what you're saying. I'm not going to go there. That's a topic for a different show. But weekends. Weekend of baseball. I tell you what, Lou. Right now, Giants undefeated, 3-0, baby, in the Cactus League. But that first game, I tell you, it was fun to just. It was a nice, beautiful day here in the Valley, right? Got to put on the radio, got to listen to John Miller and Dwayne Kuiper start calling games. And I tell you what, it's great to hear that. Right. The games mean nothing. It's practice. We're talking about practice, right? It's practice. But it's fun because you're starting to get into the rhythm. You're starting to hear the familiar voices on the radio. On Sunday, of course, our good friend Marty Lurie had his first show of the season. And it's, again, you're just starting to get back into it, man. Baseball is around the corner, Lou, and it's just fun to be able to hear the crack of the bat and the pop of the glove and the crowd. Of course, John Miller and Dwayne Kuiper. Gosh, come on, man.
Yeah,
that means all is right with the world.
It's been 5 months since the Giants actually were eliminated. You know, we forget we got an extra month of baseball playoffs, which were spectacular. Mm-hmm. But, you know, there's nothing like it. You know, it's sort of amazing growing up. You knew you had a few things during the Christmas holidays, like Eric, you know, the little drummer boy, Santa Claus, Rudolph, and everything. But once you got over there, you had the bowl games, and then slowly but surely, baseball was around the corner. You know, spring training, the little teas that every year gets you going, and then, you know, before we know it, I mean, it's the 23rd right now. Okay, if you guys look, we basically have a little over a month, and then opening day.
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
It's amazing. And next week, at this time, next week, we have the WBC. The Giants actually play against the U.S. WBC team in a practice game. You know, it's going to be, and I like it because, you know, we do our shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but, you know, I can always turn on the MLB network, watch a little action. Hello, how you doing, Isabel? But it's nice to see, you know, it always seems like the Padres, you know, some of the people that we're competing against are there. And no, I enjoy it. Baseball is so close right now, we can almost taste it.
Yeah, it is. A couple of moves on the weekend, right? Michael Conforto going to the Cubs. How about that? Forever Giant, Michael Conforto. Yeah. I mean, it's depth. It's depth. That's pretty much what it is. You know what?
That ballpark could fit him. You know, that guy, maybe. You know, say the wind's blowing out. He's the type of guy that could have 3 homers in a game.
Dude, he killed us. He killed the Giants.
Of course he did.
He did
Everyone
nothing.
Kills us when they go against us.
He had like a sub 200 batting average. He comes into Oracle Park and hits like freaking Mickey Mantle, man. It's like, come
I think on, you know what? He was like 7 for 9 in the series.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I was at one of the games and I'm like, come on, what are we doing here? Get out of here.
But you know.
Yeah, Armand, I saw that Skubal announced he's only going to pitch 1 game. I think Webb, I think Logan Webb may only be pitching 1 game as well.
I think Skubal's pitching the opener, and then he's going to go back to the spring training.
And watch. Yeah. And then supposedly he wants to be able to watch the team play if they get to the finals. So we'll see what happens. But it was great to see you got Giants baseball. I saw in the comments Insane talking about the triple play. What was that? Look, that was more horrible base running by the Cubs than it was with the Giants. But hey, it was smart. Look, Rafi Devers made a smart move, right? He went out there and cut it off, and it was able to get the runner at second. And then from there, everything went to hell. Everything went to hell for the Cubs. But it was pretty. You don't get to see that all the time, right, Lou? You don't get to see
it's a triple play. It's still one of the most rarity things in baseball. You know, again, this is what spring training's about. Because to tell you the truth, if I was a Cubs fan, I'd be sort of upset the way the last out happened. You know, you have a coach there, the guy walked off. The one thing I did want to point out is one of our writers was saying, thank God Lee's in right with his incredible arm. First of all, it wasn't because of his incredible arm. It was because of horrible base running. The Giants have been very lucky in these 3 spring training games. The first game, you had a starter that pitched 1/3 of an inning, 8 batters, gave up 5 runs, 3 hits, walked 2 guys, balked, and couldn't find the plate in 1/3 of an inning. And this is a guy supposedly that might be our 5th starter or a guy off the bench. The second one, you have a triple play on a play where, like I said, they said Lee's arm, my God, he could maybe be one of the strongest arms in right. If it was a better one and it went to the plate because it wasn't shallow, we would have never saw the triple play. So it really wasn't because of Lee. It was because of Devers being smart and understanding first base. They also had another running problem yesterday where the Giants got out of a situation because the base runners actually screwed up again. So that's what spring training is about, because even though they're professionals, a lot of these guys forget the rules. The umpires forget the rules. And, this new thing where I watched probably versions of 6 games. I'm already getting sick and tired of it because it seems like every time. That's all you're doing. In fact, if the Giants are smart, that's the merch you should get. Every time.
Get a player doing this.
Yeah, that would be something I would, I'd wear. So
you get a hat with an arm that goes up and down.
Constantly does it, yeah.
Oh man, but look, just to summarize a little bit on Saturday's game, couple of things on Saturday's game. Birdsong, man, it's early, and I'm not too concerned. The only thing that I didn't like about it is just the perception, because what he did last year, right? It kind of left off. He started from where he left off. Can't find a zone. He was having a tough time, walked a couple of guys, then gave up that grand slam. But it's spring training. The guy had a lot of velocity. I'm sure he'll work things out, and we'll see how the rest of spring goes. But again, it's just you got a little PTSD of what he did last year. So does it mean he's going to suck the rest of the time? No, it doesn't. He just had a bad outing.
And he could be working on something that we don't know about.
We don't know about. Exactly. That's what spring training is all about.
I'm going to tell you something, Eric, that a lot of people in the chat probably forgot about. But Zito had one of the worst, and I mean the worst spring trainings of all time. Okay. I believe his ERA wasn't even 81. It was like 120 something. He couldn't find the plate. He couldn't get the curveball over. The Giants were wrecked. They were almost thinking about waiving and releasing him. It was so bad. Mm-hmm. The Giants then go to Colorado to start the series. Timmy gets destroyed, gives up like 14 runs. They go through the bullpen. The next guy, I forgot who was our number 2 pitcher, might have been Kane, gave up like 11, typical Coors Field, right? Mm-hmm. And they go, my God, all we really have, the only strong arm we have is Zito. And what does Zito do? He pitches a 3-hit shutout.
Yeah, it was
which
incredible.
Literally, when you hear Bochy, that saved the season. It was only the 3rd game of the year, but it saved it. So
2012, I remember that.
Yeah, it was 2012. Yeah, so
I believe
it was just amazing,
amazing,
because a lot of times too is you got to remember these guys are working on certain pitches. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
They're on limits. The other thing too is maybe we don't talk about a young guy, and I know it's the first game of spring training, but when you get the call, hey, you're going to pitch the first, and you want to prove yourself, it's a little bit different. It's like pitching opening day at home or compared to on the road. Everything has it. Now you might say, oh, he's
first impressions, right? First impressions kind of a thing.
But he also may have never done this. He may have never started, an opener. Yeah, it's the first game of the spring training, but still, it's a lot of pressure. It's like when guys come up, I'll use Arias, right? Great hitter, but he's never going to be himself until he gets the first hit of the season. You get these guys that go 2 or 3 games, spring training, doesn't matter, or the start of the season, where they're like 0 for 12, 0 for 13, and they might be hitting the ball good. All they want to see is have an average, and then it all changes. Because, baseball, really, it's really mental. I know it's physical, but it's so mental challenge because it's a marathon. It's 162 games, and these guys have egos.
Yes, 100%. All right, let's get into it, guys. Title of today: San Francisco Giants Latin Connection. All right. I kind of alluded to this in our last live stream, Lou, and I don't know if you remember me. I kind of brought this up. Something that the Giants have had ever since they left New York and came to San Francisco. There's one thing that the Giants did, and they went after a lot of Latin players. It was at that particular time, it was almost like an untapped reservoir of players that no one was really going after. I mean, it was beginning. But the Giants were really hot and heavy in getting some of those players. And look, the Giants in the 60s were incredible with how many Latin players. Right? Juan Marichal, Orlando Cepeda, all the Alou brothers. I mean, it was incredible with what the Giants were able to do. And again, that's just doing homegrown stuff. That's not even taking into consideration other avenues that the Giants have gone to go get Latin players, right? Recent history as far as the draft. Luis Matos, Marco Luciano, Pablo Sandoval. I mean, they're as far as just recruiting, and more recently, right? You got Luis Hernandez and Josué Gonzalez. These are guys that may be up and coming, and they may play a vital part in what the San Francisco Giants do in the future. It's great to be able to see that the Giants can go out there and be able to access the player pool that they can in Latin America. And look, it was so prevalent, Lou, that they even have an academy down in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I think they have 2 baseball fields.
Felipe Alou, right?
Yeah.
The academy down there. And
academy. And I think you bring up a great point. That was our area, sort of how like right now everyone thinks the Dodgers are taking over Japan. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I mean, growing up, to me, somebody who's still with us and he does our Spanish announcing was Tito Fuentes. He was another guy, very well known. Tito was the man. You know, he was our shortstop until we had Chris Spire, but he was the guy. He was the man. He now does.
Remember Uribe, the skinny guy?
Jose Uribe, of course.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
and then also, a lot of people don't remember, but if you remember 12 and 14, the blockbuster, Marco Scudero.
The blockbuster, Marco Scudero.
You know, who was big, but probably my favorite, and who was a great Giant, and we only had him a short time, was Angel Pagan.
Angel
Pagan.
Pagan.
Fielder, you know, really was our last probably solid leadoff hitter. Great guy, and was everywhere. And a complete player. Yeah. You know, so.
And how about our 2012 World Series MVP, Pablo Sandoval? Took Verlander deep twice in game 1.
Yeah.
Wind up hitting a third one off of a reliever. What's his name? Oh, God, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Look at Gary, man, stealing my thunder. I'm going to play a little clip. I put it together. This is early in the inception of Giant Sports Talk Live. I put together a small documentary. It's like 5 minutes talking about Alex Pompez. Exactly. He was the key factor in the Giants being able to go down south and be able to get these players. He was huge. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Gary, right? Wasn't he part of Ozzie Vigil, right? I think he helped Ozzie Vigil break the big leagues, if I'm not mistaken. And look, he just didn't help the Giants. He also helped other clubs as well with Latin players. Unbelievable, man. I tell you, if it wasn't for him, who knows what the Giants would have been able or not been able to do as far as getting talent. And Alex Pompez also was played a hand in signing Willie McCovey as well. The guy was a baseball guy. I'll play the clip here shortly. Again, it's a small little 5-minute documentary. I think you guys will like it. But the Giants are doing the same. They're still carrying on that tradition. Look what they got right now on the thumbnail. We got 4 guys in the middle of the lineup that are going to be hugely important if the Giants want to succeed, right? You got Luis Arias, who looks like maybe leading off. You got Willie Adames, who may be hitting second. You got Rafael Devers, who may be hitting third. And you got Elliot Ramos, who's maybe cleaning up. And look, all 4 of them, right? Arias is from Venezuela. Willie Adames and Rafi Devers are from Dominican Republic. And, of course, Elliot Ramos is from Puerto Rico. It's awesome. And I love to see it. Maybe, you know, this could be something. Hey, you know, the 4 horsemen, if you want to call it that, right? You guys know what I'm talking about when I bring up the 4. All you wrestling fans, you guys know exactly what that's about. And if the Giants can do that, if those guys are all freaking contributing, Giants are going to have a damn good year. There's no doubt about it. And it's great to be able to see that. And here's another thing as well, right? It's not, and we're talking about Latin right now, but we're starting to open the door to Korea since, you know, the Dodgers have kind of got Japan on lockdown.
Yeah.
Giants have Jung-Hoo Lee. They used it this offseason to go down to Korea and, you know, make a presence about the San Francisco Giants. And again, that could pay dividends in the future. Let's see how Jung-Hoo Lee does this year. I'm hoping that he has a better year than he did last year. And look, he finished strong, right? Started off pretty good, then he kind of slumped, and then he finished strong. But these Latin players, I just love it. And I don't know. Lou, talk to me. Have you always enjoyed watching somebody? I remember Candy Maldonado. I remember him when I was a kid growing up. I was another guy that was
I hated as a Dodger, but loved as a Giant.
Correct.
I think when you go down this alley, to me, they just are like a couple years ahead of maybe the college players. And that could be because maybe they have a little bit better talent growing up with, where you had to earn your stripes. Where, you get these guys out here, great high school players, but they're not going against the top level. You know what I mean? Down there, it's survival. And the Giants are picking guys that usually are successful. And the rumor is, if you want to make it to the big leagues, listen to the Giants, because you're already proven that they have. And that's a big factor. It's not always about the money, because a lot of these kids come from really broken down areas. And once they do sign, they're taking care of maybe 20 people, not like just a family. But the Giants have proven that they can get great people and specialties. And what I mean by that is, like, when you guys see the recent drafts, we're going after shortstops. Tito Fuentes, shortstop. Juan Marichal, one of the greatest pitchers I'd ever seen, right? But special performers that really make a ball team. It's not like, Candyman, was a Dodger, was a great player, but he had that oomph, you know what I mean? Where these guys, they need to prove it all the way. Once they get to the majors, boy, they still have that oomph, which, I think a lot of times the Giants have been sort of soft recently, you know what I mean? Where we don't really have the villain, the power guy. That's why I'm sort of excited about Devers. Where he could be everyone's nightmare, but he's our nightmare.
Yeah, right.
And it's one of those things where, we'll say the same with Adames. Adames at times can be a stud, but he's our stud. And, really, Arias, now that we know that he's healthy right now and he's really getting better, we're going to have a hitter. And I am excited, Eric. I think you and me both are really excited about the offense. I think it's better. It's an upgrade. If we can just work on our defense, strikeouts, and get pitching, this team's going to be fun to watch.
It is. And here's another thing too. And what the beauty of the game of baseball. Forgive me if I'm going to kind of pontificate here a little bit. But why was Latin America a place to go out there and find baseball talent? Because Americans brought that game to Latin America. They brought the game to Japan. Lefty O'Doul, there's a huge story on that, on how he brought baseball to Japan. And that's why Japan got super excited about baseball. And it's great. If one thing, right, and I've talked about this before, baseball can do so many wonderful things. It's the best of America, right? You could go out there and play a kid's sport, be successful, and do it for a living, right? And again, you're bringing those people into American culture as well. Doesn't mean you lose whatever you come over with. If you're Venezuelan, you bring your Venezuelan culture to America, and that's fine. That's what America's all about. America's all about that. And it's awesome to see that, hey, America has some good out there to where you're passing along America's pastime. And to your point, what you were talking about, they have such a joy for playing the game. They got a fire in them. There's no doubt. Everyone you watch when they play that, it's not winter ball, but what is it? Where they have the Venezuela Baseball League, and also in
the Caribbean Championship. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. Yeah, it's insane. You want to talk about it? Everybody's involved.
I think, Eric, behind soccer, it's probably the number 2 sport, because a lot of kids don't want to do football. It can become violent. Maybe they're not good. They get picked on. But baseball, what's so unique about baseball, it doesn't matter your size, your strength, your color, anything. Because, you look at baseball, you got guys that are playing in the major leagues that are 5'2", and we're being gracious, that are hitting 30 homers. Then we have guys, someone who's like 6'7", who, if he can do his thing, might hit 30 homers. You have guys that can go on the mound 5'2" with legs that are steel that can throw 100 miles an hour. Yeah. You have guys that can throw curveballs. The game is for everybody. And a lot of people growing up, especially in Puerto Rico, all you needed, you could always borrow somebody else's mitt, and you could always borrow somebody else's bat. You just had to show up. And I think it's one of those things where, 5, 6 years old, you learn the game, you love it, you can play it as long as it's not raining. It's competitive. It's just so special, baseball. And the other thing is you could be at a great game. It's 10-8 or a 1-0. There's just so many different variations that everyone loves. Plus, I think a lot of people forget in the 50s and 60s, and I think that's what you were going to say, Eric, is you used to have traveling teams that would go.
Even before that, we're talking like turn of the century, like Babe
turn
Ruth.
Of the century, yeah. Where these guys are living legends, where they would take a train, they would go, they'd have fundamentals, they would teach kids how to do it, they would donate stuff. It was amazing. Plus, I think the one thing about baseball, about baseball I had is we didn't have T-ball, but I went to Cub Scouts where we played softball. So it's a little bit easier to hit the ball. So, again, hand-eye coordination, you learn that. Then you went to hardball. Then you played, then you play in flame, CEO. But like I said, it's one of those things where the greatest thing you could do is take somebody to a baseball game and they're hooked. Because once they understand the game, they understand the rules, which are pretty easy, and you get to play the game, you're a fan for life.
It is. And that's what happened when those guys barnstormed, Babe Ruth and all of them. They would go abroad. They went abroad. And when I mean abroad, there's photos. We're talking in the early 1900s of a baseball game being played in front of the Egyptian pyramids. I mean, come on, man. It's gone everywhere. Now, of course, it doesn't take everywhere, but in Latin America, it took. In Japan, it took. And it's just great. The stories that you hear. Look, if Americans never barnstormed in these areas, we would have never seen the likes of Juan Marichal or Orlando Cepeda or Albert Pujols, you name it, right? We may have never ever seen these guys, and it's absolutely Roberto Clemente, right? We would have never seen these guys if America's pastime was not traveling abroad, and it's awesome to see that. And I'm glad that the Giants have these guys on their team, right? It's not just because they're Latin; they're damn good players. And that's good. And that's the important part. And to go back to what you were saying earlier, not only do they have the fire, a lot of this is how they're going to make their way is professional baseball.
They have no other life. That's it.
Right. A kid, let's just say, for example, a kid going to college playing baseball. If he doesn't make it playing baseball, well, he's got something else he can fall back on. Right. If you're in the Dominican Republic or Venezuela or any of these other countries, baseball may be the only way that you're going to be able to make a living, so to speak. And to your point, a lot of them will have a big family and they're supporting their entire family. It's huge for them. I mean, you go watch. There was an interview, and I can't remember who is giving it to him. Mariano Rivera. Oh my gosh. He was playing with basically a cardboard mitt. Yeah. A cardboard mitt. And here he didn't know a lick of English. And what does he do? He comes here to America and becomes one of the most, if not the most dominant closer ever to play the game. And you know what? You know what happened? He loved this country so much he actually became a citizen. So, I mean, it's the beauty of the game and what it could do, right? Not just for the game, but for the person and for the country.
Eric, one of the greatest things of summer happens, and it was really because of Wide World of Sports, Little League World Series, where you would see kids. How in the hell is that kid 10 years old? He looked like he's 15, right?
Yeah,
but the Asian Pacific and the Puerto Rican kids were just more mature than us. Now, again, they're so desperate. Maybe some of these kids were older than they were. But the Little League World Series, I think it's the only sport that was so big that we had a Little League World Series. We don't have like a soccer thing. We don't have a football thing. And really, that's what starts it all, where these kids, and it's amazing because most of their idols are from their country. But, I think you bring up a great point. That's why you get these kids that are from, and this is what Dan always said on the other show. There's no way the kid's 24. He's really probably 34. But they're so desperate to get that money because they got to support a whole entire village, it seems like they're gonna lie about the age. It's just one of those things.
Mark says, girl I dated in college was Dominican. Her father spoke no English, but I could talk baseball with him. I tell you, that's the beauty. We talk about this all the time on here, Lou. We may not agree on anything going on, whether it's in the world, whatever, right? But one thing we can all agree on, we could talk baseball. It's awesome. It's freaking awesome. Hey guys, let me go ahead. I'm going to play this clip again, guys. I put this out over a year ago. It's only like 5 minutes. Hold on. Let me see. I think it's like 5 minutes, something like that. Yeah. Just over 5.5 minutes. And again, it's about Alex Pompez. It's a short history on Alex Pompez and the impact he had on the San Francisco Giants. Not necessarily, he did have impact on the New York Giants, but where he really made his hay for the Giants is when they came over here to San Francisco. So I'll get to your super chat in a minute there, Fuji. Let me go ahead and play this real quick, and then we'll be right back. Hold on. Let me get this up here. Here we go. The San Francisco Giants have a long and storied history dating back to the club's formation in the late 19th century. Figures such as Buck Ewing, Roger Connor, Joe McGinty, Christy Mathewson, John McGraw, George Burns, Fred Merkle, Carl Hubble, Mel Ott, Leo DeRocher, Bobby Thompson were just but a few of the great Giants during the club's time in New York. What was missing in all of the names mentioned were the Latin and black players who did not make their appearance until after Jackie Robinson made his debut in 1947. The wheels were set in motion for Latin and black players to make their mark on Major League Baseball, and specifically the Giants. There was one man responsible for the Giants' influx of Latin and black players, and that was Alex Pompez. Alejandro Pompez was born on May 3rd, 1890 in Key West, Florida, to Cuban-born parents. In 1894, his father, Jose Gonzalo Pompez, moved his family to West Tampa, where young Alex began his love of baseball. After his death of his father, Alex's mother moved the family to Havana, Cuba, and it was there that Alex truly became enthralled with the game of baseball. In 1910, Alex moved back to Tampa, where he found work as a cigar maker and continued playing baseball in his free time. By the end of the year, Alex moved to New York, where he found work as a cigar maker, and within a year, he was able to open up his own cigar shop, which he continued until the time of his death in 1974. It was while he was in New York he came in contact with a man that would help Alex become a major player in the Negro Leagues and beyond. Alex Pompez became friends with Nat Strong, who was in control of New York City's sports booking business. He had exclusive rights to Ebbets Field, Yankee Stadium, and the Polo Grounds. He was also very influential in booking many of the Negro League games in the city. The relationship Alex had with Nat helped him form relationships and gain the experience needed to be successful in the business of baseball. By 1917, Alex Pompez was able to establish his own baseball club called the Havana Cuban Stars and eventually renamed the New York Cuban Stars. He became one of the few black baseball club owners who had exclusive rights to a ballpark. His use of the Dyckman Oval helped him avoid booking agents that had long controlled black baseball on the East Coast. During his time operating his own club, he became associated with Horace Stoneham, the New York Giants owner. It was this relationship that helped the Giants usher in new, untapped talent. With the introduction of integrated baseball, Alex Pompez continued to work with Horace Stoneham, and his Cuban Stars became affiliated with the New York Giants. A result of integrated baseball, black baseball clubs began to fold, and Alex Pompez's Cuban Stars were not immune in suffering the consequences. Because of his close association with Stoneham and the Giants, he became a scout and eventually attained the position of Director of International Scouting. Pompez performed this position for the Giants for 25 years where he was instrumental in signing Latino and Black players and helping them transition in playing baseball in America. Alex Pompez was a key figure in identifying and recruiting eventual Hall of Fame caliber players to the Giants, such as Juan Marichal, Orlando Cepeda, and Willie McCovey. He was also responsible for other players that were vital to the Giants' success, such as Monte Irvin, the Alou brothers, Felipe, Matty, and Jesus, and Tito Fuentes. Pompez's work helped the Giants become one of the leading clubs in acquiring talent abroad, specifically from Latin America. Alex's most important contribution to baseball was the opening of the Dominican Republic player market. This untapped reservoir of talent would benefit not just the Giants, but also the entire league. This also created opportunities for Latin players to realize their dream of becoming Major League Baseball players. Because of his contributions to baseball for both the Negro Leagues and Major League Baseball, Alex Pompez was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2006. All right. There we go. How about that, huh? Not too bad.
Eric, I want to say something with the chat. I thought that was very well done. I didn't know the history about him. And somebody in the chat said it sounded like we were watching a young Ken Burns. I thought that was badass. So well done.
Thanks.
Well done.
Appreciate it. Man, I really enjoyed doing that stuff, man. It was fun when I put it together. I was hoping it would be a little bit longer, but hey, it all worked out. I kind of talked a little bit faster. Thanks. And Gary, hey, Gary, appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Again, guys, go check out New York Giants Preservation Society on YouTube. Fantastic information. If you like what I just put together, go check out what Gary puts together. He brings on some fantastic guests, a lot of authors, and also a lot of people associated with the Giants too. So guys, go make sure you check that out. New York Giants Preservation Society. Will not be disappointed. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate that. Awesome. Thanks, Rosemond. Appreciate it. But yeah, man, it's fun talking about that stuff. Again, it's something I enjoy. You know, history's one of the things I enjoy talking about. Baseball is part of that. So, man, again, thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Charlie Brown, yeah, I put a little jazz in the background. It just helps it. It just helps when you put a little music behind it while you're doing a narration. It makes it flow a little bit better. I like doing that.
All right. Well, we got 2 super chats by the Fuji man.
Yeah, let's do that by Fuji Simeon, our buddy. I think he's a Reardon guy, right? Isn't that who he is? I think he's a Reardon guy. Donates $5. Says salary floor / cap argument aside, what is the one thing or rule you two would like to see in the next CBA? What do you think? I got one.
Yeah, I think I've been saying this. You know, everyone blames the Dodgers. I think if the bottom 5 teams don't spend, they should be penalized. You know, these owners, if you don't want to spend, then sell the team. And what I mean is, you know, we all watch the same, seems like 4 or 5 teams just don't want to spend. They don't want to spend. They don't want to spend. Now, it's different if you're someone like San Diego or Minnesota that might have new owners or something and they're getting the feel of it. But it seems to me, and what I would do is I'd make it pretty tough. Hey, you're just there to make money. You're not helping the fans. You know, you have 3 bad years and you don't spend any money, then you're going to lose the next 3 years of your picks. You know, make them so they got to spend the money because it's every other team. Because
more
really
of
the New York Yankees, we're getting jealous. Now people are jealous the way the Dodgers worked. Okay, but you got to remember, if you're upset at the Dodgers spending so much, you got to be upset at 5 or 6 teams that aren't spending. You know, we complain about the Giants not spending enough. Well, the Giants are at least 200. Imagine if you're a fan of a team, you know, like, again, I'm not going to use Tampa Bay because somehow they spend no money and they're still successful. You know, it's just one of those things. But it seems like the same, like Colorado right now. They're not spending any money. Their only big free agent, is Chris Bryant. The guy's always injured. They're not going to do anything. But, it's frustrating. You have a ballpark. You have people that are committed trying to support the team. But if you're giving us, crap, that's the result you're going to get. So I would do something if you're the bottom 5 feeders and you're not spending any money, you got to penalize them. The Dodgers and the top of the guys aren't going to stop. So you got to do some other way. That would be my one rule. All
right. I got 2 of them. One, dealing with CBA or dealing with financials, the deferrals. The hell with the deferrals. Or limit them substantially, because you just can't do that. Right? Yeah. That's just come on. If you're going to pay for a player, just then pay it within the time frame. If you're giving them a 5-year deal, well, you got to pay them that contract within the 5 year. If you want to defer just a little bit, okay. But deferring massive amounts of your contract, come on, that just ain't right. It just isn't. And and then as far as gameplay, the Ghost Runner, man, get rid of that stupid. Look, if you want to institute it after maybe the 12th inning, give 3 innings of extra innings. And then if you don't get anything done by the 12th, all right, in the beginning of the 13th inning, then you could go ahead and start doing the Ghost Runner. But to do it in the 10th inning, come on, that's to me, that's not big. Look, I understand if you want to put a pitch clock, you're not really affecting the game and how it's played. When you put a man on second base, you're affecting how the game is played. And that's the issue that I have with as far as those.
Eric, did you ever see a problem when the playoffs happened where there wasn't the Ghost Runner?
Nope.
It made it more exciting.
It was that 18-inning game. This
nerve-wracking and made it more exciting. Everything. I completely agree. I mean, I would like them to maybe do at least a 10th inning. Add one more regular, and then if it gets to 11 and 12, because again, it is a marathon. You have 162 games. You do have a problem where it's mostly pitching, but I would love to at least do the Ghost Runner maybe start in the 11th or the 10th.
That's fine. Okay. Somewhere.
That's all I'm asking. But, the way it is now, it's plus, it's so tough. Say you have a team that comes back from 8 runs down, they tie, and then they lose on a Ghost Runner where like maybe a fluke error or something, sort of ruins the whole vibe.
It does.
You know what I mean? And the other thing, too, is it goes back. If you have those 2 extra innings, the manager has to manage. Too many times, oh, don't worry, we'll get to the extra innings. We got the Ghost Runner, and it goes out the window. We these managers like Tony V get paid a lot for their mind and their decisions. Let them earn it.
There you go. And especially, and look, you took out some of that strategy when you instituted the DH in the National League. Because remember, back when the pitchers, you had the double switches and all that stuff. So you had to be have a little bit more strategery in your back pocket. Now it's a lot more easier because of the DHs, but you still have to go to manage your bullpen and everything. So you got to do something there. But yeah, I agree. It just seems too artificial for me. And whether or not they do that, we'll find out soon enough, man. It's going to be freaking. It's going to be one thing I don't want to see. I don't want to see this stupid. What is it? The home run. Oh my God, dude! I'm telling you, if they have a home run derby to determine the outcome of a game, you lost me, man. Same thing with the whole golden bat.
It's ridiculous. Were you going to get Ohtani batting 4 straight innings?
Yeah, right. Come on, man. It's ludicrous. But hey, it is what it is. Hey, speaking of Latin players, guys, less than a month. If you want to come join us at a Latin style establishment, hey, make sure you put on your calendar, March 7, baby. Come on, let's go.
Come see Eric,
Glenn and Lou for the Giants Sports Talk Live Meet and Greet, March 14th from 3 to 7 p.m. at Tommy's Mexican Restaurant, home of the world-famous Tommy Margarita.
I'm Julio Bermejo, the North American Ambassador of Tequila, here at Tommy's Mexican Restaurant, where we will welcome Giants Sports Talk Live, March 14th. Come see Glenn, Eric, and Super Salty Lou here at Tommy's and learn all about the Tommy's Margarita.
There we go, baby. March 14th. Lou, it's going to be here before we know it, Lou.
I know. And Eric, we made it easy. If you guys are going to the Fan Fest, the Fan Fest is from 10 to 2. Enjoy the Fan Fest. Take an Uber or drive over 24th and Gary and come meet us. We're going to have surprises, raffles. I mean, you get to enjoy margaritas, food. I mean, it's a no-brainer in my mind. No-brainer.
Exactly. And hey, real quick, we have a sponsor that is sponsoring our sponsor, Ocho Tequila, right? They're going to sit there and there, guys, if you show up, the food and drink is going to be provided for you guys. You guys don't have to pay for anything. All right. Well, only thing we ask, just bring some money for a tip. Again, we're going to have some people there cooking up the food and serving everybody. So just keep that in mind. Just be kind and tip for the people if you decide
we'll have a little tip jar. You know, do what you can. The other thing, too, is at the very end of that ad, that was Julio. He's the number one judge in the world. He's the gentleman that invented the Tommy Margarita. Mm-hmm. He's going to give the definition of margaritas. Great guy. He's so excited to have us. And, you know, hopefully you guys get to, first of all, you get to meet us. And we're excited to meet you. But hopefully this can become a destination many more times.
Absolutely, exactly.
Start of the season.
Guys, great food, great drink, and more importantly, great people. That's what it's all about. So it should be a lot of fun, guys. Again, if you guys got nothing going on, there it is. We're going to be right there, almost in the beginning of spring, and the weather should be beautiful. And looking forward to hanging out there at Tommy's for a few hours and just meeting everybody. So it should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Again, Lou, appreciate you setting all that up, man. It was
no problem.
You took the bull by the horns and you ramrodded this thing home, and we appreciate that.
No problem.
Absolutely. All right, look at that. My wife calls the Ghost Runner Little League. That's a fact. It's Little League, man. I hate that. It's dumb. And during COVID and all that stuff, because everything was all in craziness, and then you had the start, and then the 2021 season started a little bit weird because of the CBA. The season started a little bit late. I get it, I understand, but that shit's gone now. So let's get back to regular day baseball. Come on.
All right, and don't forget about Fuji's second one. Thank you, Fuji.
Exactly. Yeah, that was great to talk about. Fuji, another $5 says in Japan, the summer high school national baseball tournament. High school from each prefecture, that's their province, right? Play in the tournament, March Madness. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, it's huge, man. I tell you, baseball in Japan is no joke. No joke, folks.
And Eric, I've said this before. People in the chat, if you want to see something very unique, watch 60 Minutes where they did a feature on Ohtani before he came to play for the California Angels. An amazing thing. This guy did no drugs, nothing. It was all about baseball. They showed the way he worked every day and how great he was. And it was sort of like that movie, The Scout, where he was larger than life. He was just a tall kid, and he would watch tapes. All he did was try to improve himself because he figured, hey, I could be one. And now, 10 years later, we're looking at our Babe Ruth of our generation.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Hey, what's up, Dallas? Matter of fact, I heard you yesterday, Dallas. I heard you yesterday. He called in on Bill Lasky. Yeah, I heard him on KMBR. I called in on Saturday talking to Bill. So yeah, doing my thing that I normally do during the baseball season, calling into KMBR and talking baseball. Yeah, that was fun. Again, Nothing better than on a weekend where the sun is shining and getting to listen to baseball. Dallas, he heard me. Nice.
Lasky in the afternoon.
Yep.
Well, Eric, we've had 3 games. I wanted to ask you what you thought of the 3 games about the Giants, and then I was going to tell you a little bit about what I thought. So why don't you tell me, the Giants 3 games in, the Tony V stature has started. Are the Giants giving you what you want? What improvements do you see? And it's only been 3 games, but hey,
3 games
to talk about.
I tell you what, as far as pitching, Blade Tidwell, the first game, man, that guy came out throwing some freaking darts. He came out, his off-speed stuff was pretty damn sharp already, in his first appearance, talking about Blade Tidwell. Guy went out there and shoved, no doubt about it. You know who I also liked in that first game? Michael Fulmer. He's not a flamethrower. He's more of a pitcher. I think he was topping out like at 90, something like that. But his off-speed stuff was pretty damn incredible. And hey, he had a clean inning, so nothing wrong with that. Again, I already talked about Birdsong, a little concerned. Yesterday, man, the last 3, Bednar, he had a rough go of it. But again, spring training, we don't know. You said it, Lou. You don't know what they're working on. It doesn't mean that's, what, if you're getting close to the end of spring training, okay, well, then I can understand maybe being a little bit more concerned. But until the games matter, I'm not too worried about it. The lineup, look, they're putting up a lot of runs. And that's pretty damn good. That is pretty damn good to go out there and see them putting up runs. Luis Reyes had a nice game today. Chapman had a couple of good games. Devers today, I think he struck out twice, but he had a nice one thing I liked on that first game is they were getting hits with runners in scoring position.
There you go.
How about that?
That up.
How about
That's
that?
Something new, huh?
Exactly. How about that? But yeah, that was actually nice to see. What did you think, Lou? And hold on, just give me a minute. Go ahead and talk amongst them, and then I'll be right back.
Yeah. The one thing I'm getting a little sick and tired of, and I've seen a few people in the chat, and I saw Alex Pavlovich bring it up 3 times, and he keeps referring to the Giants, the reigning Cactus League champs. I don't give a crap about Cactus League. Okay. Last year, the Giants won. It means absolutely nothing to me. We're now 3-0 and people are saying, oh my God, you know what? If the Giants are only going to do well in Cactus League, then we're never going to do well in major leagues. Okay. So let's get this out ahead. Cactus League means nothing. Half the time you're going against guys that may never, ever make it to the show. Okay. I don't understand why we're so proud the Giants won the Cactus League. The Dodgers, I think, were like 8-26. Last time I looked, they've won the ring twice. That's what matters. Plus, last year, the Giants started off good. And then what happened? They fell apart like usual. So, again, everyone getting excited because we're the Cactus League champs. My God, this is not the bad news Bears, okay? So let's put that behind us. I think what is good about the Giants is they're hitting in runners in scoring position, which we have not seen at all. That a lineup has been consistent, and I'm more worried about the starting pitching. The bullpen has sort of been, for me, where it's opened my eyes.
Yes, correct.
It's been one of those things where, if you remember, the Giants were saying, hey, we have a lot of youth, a lot of young arms, and hopefully someone's going to be able to step up. And I think they've been doing a great job. You got to remember, they gave up 5 runs in 1/3 of an inning. The rest of these games, they literally aren't giving up anything. So the pitching's been consistent. Okay, so I really think that's been great. Hitting in scoring position, I think that's been great. But keep talking about us, we're the Cactus League champs. Guys, nobody gives a shit. Okay, it's the same thing. I brought this up last year. Everyone was excited when the Giants won the California League, which is single A. And it was, I think, 5 years ago they won it too, and only 2 guys from that single A made it to the majors. Guys, you know what? The farm system we know has problems, but we got to start worrying about the major league team. I don't care about the Cactus League. I want them to be successful when it starts. It's like I'll use the analogy racehorses. This horse works out great in the morning, but when the lights are on, it's not the same. And once the lights start against the Yankees on Wednesday night, where we're the only game in town, that's where I want to see all the work that we did in spring training to come through. Hitting behind the runners, hitting runners scoring position, having a starter actually go 5 or 6 innings, giving them a little time, and then having the bullpen lock it down and getting our first W. I'll admit, hey, if the Giants start off 3-0 and we take 3 from the Yankees, hell yeah, I'm going to be excited. But right now we're going against teams that are playing starters a couple times. I think the one thing too is a lot of us don't really watch the spring training games unless it's on TV and we know who the Giants are. Guys, spring training, there are more guys with numbers above 75 that you have no clue who they are. Okay. So it's just one of those things. Okay.
Yep.
But the one thing is, hey, I'm taking positive because you know what? It's been 3 games, but I think a lot of the problems that we're worried about, they've been doing, and I know it's only 3 games, but hitting and running scoring position, coming from behind and keeping the lead are all very positive. And that's what it takes to me.
And I tell you, the one thing I'll be keeping a key eye on, I've been saying it here on the show often, is this bullpen competition. That was the title of our last, right? Bulls on Parade, because who's going to be the guy that's going to lock it down, so to speak, and get that roster position? And there may be 2. So we'll see how that's all going to pan out. And that's something that I'm looking forward to see how that's going to work out. Nate, the Real Nature Guy, our buddy from Minnesota. What's up, man? Christener, right? Christener said, will it be Gilbert or Brennan? That's a good question. Brennan had a nice hit the other day. I don't know. Again, that's going to be a competition for that 4th outfielder. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Gilbert, Matos, Encarnacion? Is it going to be that kid Brennan? He's on a major league contract, right? So, but he does have options. Is Bryce Eldridge going to make the roster? We don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. We'll see how that all works out. And again, that's going to play into whether Encarnacion is probably going to be on the roster or not. It's going to be quite interesting. That 4th outfielder and the Eldridge question, as far as position players, those are the ones that are going to be something to keep an eye on. But I tell you, the bullpen going to be interesting. Speaking of pitching, Giants went out there and signed another former Dodger, Pirate and Dodger, Honeywell Jr., right? Isn't that who it was?
Yeah.
I guess he was a highly touted prospect at one time, battled injury, but yeah,
the usual.
And it's a minor league deal, so I could care less about that because you need that in the minor leagues, right? You need to fill out a roster for your minor leagues, and who knows? Maybe that's a guy they have to rely. Hopefully, it's not a guy they have to rely on, but you never know. Maybe he gets into Sacramento, he starts dealing. And then it's like, okay, hey, maybe he leapfrogs some guys. So there's nothing wrong with that. He's not affecting the 40-man or the 26-man. And again, it's depth, and that's okay. There's nothing. That's a kind of move that's okay, right? You just need that depth. So again, so far, love what I'm seeing as far as a spring training. And you know what else I love? There's no issues with our manager. For example, he's like paint on the wall. What does that mean? What does that mean if that's what I want? I want him to be like paint on the wall. Can anyone guess what that means by being paint on the wall? You don't notice. He's just out there. It's performing the function that it's designed to function, right? He's going out there. He's managing. There's no weird stuff going on. And hey, let's just go out there and prepare for freaking the season. That's what I want to see. That's perfect, right? Behind the scenes, let him do what he's got to do behind the scenes. But you're not making any stories. And that's, hey, there we go, man. It's all about preparing for the season and going out there and winning some freaking games, man. Come on. That's all I care about. How about you?
I think you bring up a great point is, he's like the CEO of the corporation, which is the Giants. And a lot of successful companies, when they're successful, you only know the name. You don't have to see the person.
Yeah.
And, I think the one thing about the Giants is, again, it's only been 3 days, is one of those things where you could sort of see, and I know last year they were saying it was a different attitude. I think, people could see during spring training, but right now it seems more business-like, which I like. It's not really, hey, we have a college guy. We were thinking, Gilbert and Wright, rah, let's get him some pom-poms. No, it's just business-like, and they're just trying to improve. And they're admitting, hey, we have mistakes. We're going to work on them. We're going to work all spring, so when we go live, I know it's a dress rehearsal. People aren't going to keep coming back to the mistakes. I mean, my God, we got another team. Let the other teams make the mistake instead of us.
Yes.
Like the last 2 games with the triple play, and then they had another running problem. That was the Giants all year. It was the Giants that got themselves in trouble.
They did.
The other teams in trouble.
Correct.
And that's really what the key is. And hopefully with this new attitude of Tony V's is, beside making the Giants exciting is, hey, if we lose, we gave 100%, not because of fundamentals or stupid plays. I have no problem. Hey, the Giants are probably going to lose 60 games, win 60. Okay. It's the other 40 that determines where they're going to go. And that's sort of every team does that. But, last year we just made too many mistakes. And then when we won, we got lucky. I remember, was it Ramos who had the inside the park homer in the 9th inning because the team didn't throw it right? And you got to win those games when you're not the best. But a lot of games too, runners first and third, nobody out can't score. Second and third, nobody out can't score. Too much of that. So we just got to work on that. And as me and Eric have said, if the Giants would have won 5 more games, and you probably could have gone 10 games that were like, oh my God, how did we lose it? Now, again, you're going to lose a lot, but there were probably 10 games where, God, if we just won 500 on those 10, we were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's how close it is. So,
yeah. I mean, just like that losing streak, right?
Oh.
Glenn likes to bring up the 4-leaf clover. Yeah. There's luck that's involved in a season. And there was times where they got some lucky wins. There's no doubt about it. But when you lose 14-15, that's just brutal, man. Remember the 14-15 at home, that is. I mean, that was just absolutely brutal. Because look,
and they were against bottom of the barrel teams.
Yeah. The Marlins and the Pirates. And it's like, what are you doing?
And the White Sox, yeah. So
you got to remember last year, the Dodgers, at one time, I think they had like a 9-game losing streak. It happens in a baseball season. It's just, what are you going to do with those other games? You talked about it, right? Yeah. A third of the season, and then the other third of the season. What are you going to do in those? How are you going to get through those situations?
How are you going to adapt when things are down? Everyone loves the Giants in the first 30 games last year. My God, we were the Cactus League champs. Nobody cares about that. Yeah, but Lou, we came out, 20-8. I feel good. Okay, well, what happened the next 30 games? We were like 5 below. And then the next 30 games, we were 10 below. Then all of a sudden, we were below 500. And the excuse was, oh, well, we're not a good road team. Okay, but we lost at home. Oh, well, we're just – every team goes through losing streaks, and every team goes through injuries. The one thing I would have done 5 years ago is gotten rid of our doctors, because it seemed like I've never seen more pulled hamstrings in my life. Yaz must have pulled his hamstring 3 times every year. And, the thing about the Giants is we're not really super deep. We need these guys healthy and on the field. It's sort of like how our pitching staff is. Glenn always brings up we're decent right now and solid. But when we lose Webb or Ray, we're not that good. We're not that deep. So we need these guys healthy and just doing their job. That's all we're asking. Webb, give me 7 innings, keep us in the game. Ray, give me 6 innings, keep us in the game. And really that's all it is. But the way the lineup's done, and I just think this year, if we can just really work on the fundamentals, that's worth at least 3 to 5 more wins. Now, I don't know if that gets us in the playoffs, but it's going to help us get a lot closer.
Exactly. No, 100%. Hey, what did you think of that news? What was it, yesterday? Rhys Hoskins couldn't even get a major league contract. He got a minor league contract with the Cleveland Guardians, man. boy, you want to talk about tough. I figured he'd have a major league contract somewhere. I mean, it's good for the Guardians, but wow, a minor league contract.
one of those minor league contract, but if he makes it, all it is the minimum. They got to pay him. So, why not? He's showing, first of all, he's a major leaguer.
Yeah.
And, a lot of these teams, I'm sort of surprised something like the Giants where the depth-wise, we've talked about this. Our depth has improved with the last 3 transactions, but just overall, to have like a veteran that we can do, because, I think we're really going to miss, a couple of guys. Eric, one of your favorite guys, is now with Atlanta, who was a clutch hitter, Dom Smith. And, of course, Glenn's favorite player was sort of clutch. You just need a guy that's a proven person, because a lot of these young guys that we're depending on, hey, they're all going to be ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's good. It's baseball. You got to remember, in baseball, you could fail 7 out of 10 times and you're successful. It's amazing.
Hey, you fail 3 out of 10 times, Lou, you're a Hall of Famer, man. You're a Hall of Famer, right? If you have a career where you hit the ball 3 out of 10 times, you are getting a ticket into Cooperstown. Speaking of which, did you hear the broadcast? Did you hear Jeff Kent on the radio broadcast talking about Alex Rodriguez?
No, I didn't hear it.
It was great. It was great because they were talking about how Alex Rodriguez slid hard into second base and it injured Jeff Kent, sprained his knee. He said his fat ass was sliding into that son of a bitch. He said it live on air. Oh, it was great.
Oh, awesome.
It was great. It was awesome, man. It was typical Jeff. It was awesome.
Good and I think one thing about Jeff is, even though he played in other teams, Houston after us, we got him in the thing, is he has Giants written all over him. I know when he goes in the Hall of Fame, he's going to be a Giant. So, I know the Giants are doing a lot. They're going to have a special day. And I think the Giants are doing it right, because I don't think they had that good of a relationship. But now that he's a Hall of Famer, he's might have gotten his guard down, and I think he's sort of enjoying it that he's making the Hall of Fame and Barry's not. It's something where, it's one of those things like, hey, Barry, I made it. Because, again, remember, they were fisticuffs when they were players. That happens. But, I think the Giants are doing the right way. Another giveaway. And I think he's, enjoying it right now. And why not, man? He was a great Giant. We got to take care of the guys that were great Giants.
And they're retiring his number, right, in August. That's going to be something. Yeah. I mean, that one's going to be a good one. Let's see if Barry shows up for that one. I'm sure he will, right? Come on. They retired his, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. We all understand the whole the issue with the Hall of Fame. It is what it is, but go support your guy, man. He wants, and look, it's Dusty Baker, right? That's where Jeff Kent, man, he absolutely loves that guy. He's the one that he credits him for turning his career around. So there you go. Let's see. Look at that. Dallas guys tend to mellow out when they get older. Lou isn't even as salty anymore. Well, you look at that.
Spring training.
Back to super salty Lou.
Spring training. Don't worry. I'm already upset at these riders. Susan's already blasted me twice, because I've already called her a homer and says, hey, you're still on the Giants payroll. You're a disgrace. And then I don't even listen to KBR anymore, because these homers, like, they live in a fantasy world. I mean, pretty sure, they're the same idiots that invented that horrible looking spring training hat. I get more ads. It's funny. I say how ugly the hats are. I don't even look them up, and now I'm getting all these blasts on my smartphone. Hey, would you like to get a spring training hat? I still don't even know what that logo is, that pink crap on the side. It's ugly.
I like the one from 2023. I got it. It has the cactus on the side. It's actually a nice looking hat. It's got the big G on the front. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, when they started, and remember, that was only for spring training. That was such a cool hat.
Yeah. It was. I like that one.
So
that was a good one.
And don't worry, once the season starts, I'll be back. I'm in spring training myself. I've had a time off, so and I have new bosses. I have Eric and Glenn, so I want them to think I'm normal. Then I'm going to come out and go crazy.
I want them to think I'm normal. Hey, that's one thing that isn't on the show is normalcy. This is anti-normal. here on Giant Sports Talk Live. Anyways, hey, I think that was good. I think we checked all the boxes, Lou. Again, guys, Glenn couldn't join us. He's in the middle of a blizzard in Winnipeg. He sent me a video. The snow is coming in sideways. So he said he was having some power issues. So I'm sure that's exactly what's going on. So expect to see him on Wednesday, unless he's digging out. he might be digging out. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, this is the most normal night in history. Hey. Sometimes it's that way.
Yeah.
Lou, any closing thoughts, man?
No. Great show. It's always good when it flies by, and it seems like we just started.
I know.
But, I think most important tonight, Eric, I really enjoyed that little bio of an important person in Giants history.
Alex Pompez, yeah.
And I think it's very important. And, I love doing shows where we have Giants themes.
Yeah.
And tonight, you brought up a very great subject. Because to tell you the truth, the Latin players have really taken over baseball. When you look at a lot of the superstars, and I'm glad they're here because that's what makes baseball great. It doesn't matter where you're from, your ability, everyone has their specialty, and that's what makes it, because it's truly a team sport. Yeah. And there's nothing like baseball.
Absolutely. So, well said. All right, guys, we will be back Wednesday night, 8:00, do it all over again. And then, have some more fun. And again, guys, mark your calendar, March 14th. Don't forget, you want to come check out myself, Glenn and Lou. Come down to Tommy's Mexican Restaurant, home of the Tommy Margarita, March 14th, 3 to 7. Should be a lot of fun, guys. Free food and drink. Hey, there you go, right? If you don't want to see us, come get the free food.
I'm in.
All right, guys, be good, and we'll see you guys Wednesday night. Woo!
You've been watching Giant Sports Talk Live with Eric and Glenn, a Northern Lights Entertainment Broadcasting production.